This time we're going to look at some bunker and a few other interesting objects. It's going to be quite a hike. We're in the area of the Twente Airforcebase. Last time I've done the Holthuis estate. This time we're going to look at some other objects in this area. One of them is a bunker and a hangar ruin. So first we're going here. This is a former sort of airstrip thing, and well, I'm going to attach the camera now. Well, here's our first object. Remember that ammunition shed on the Holthuis estate with a concrete slab on it. Well, this is the exact same thing, except this one is not intact. As you can see, the roof slab is missing, but it is essentially the same object, and this one is completely overgrown. On that area there is a mountain bike trail with lots of rubble. Oh, in the distance I can see some wanderers with dogs. I don't like that because there's a hangar ruin there. I thought I picked a quiet day to go for a stroll, but as you can expect, it's always busy with people walking about. And they parked a bloody car there. And if you look there, you see a big hill. Well, that looks familiar, doesn't it? It's exactly the same bunker as on the Holthuis estate. This is the second one. It's the exact same structure, essentially. Also hidden under a hill, except it's less concealed, especially now in December, when it's all well, the trees are kind of naked with not much leaves on them. And well, here's the bunker. By the way, you can't really get into this one. It's very dark. The openings on the back have been closed. They have been shut with masonry, and this one is used for beds. And there's a fence, so you can't easily get in there. Well, you kinda can get in, but it's not easy. And there's water on the floor. This thing is drained, but I mentioned that in my Holthuis video. So as you can see, people have been in here. And I will have a little, oh, I don't think I even go inside because there's so much mud here, and well, it's exactly the same as the other one, and well, I just don't want to step into the mud. But believe me, this thing is identical. So let's get on top of it. As you can see, this is pretty tall. So now we are on top of the bunker. And as you can see, there are no openings on the back, even though they do exist, but they have been closed shut with masonry. I have seen photos of that. So let's ascend from here, or descend. I always get those confused. This is the back. far as I know, there are no other objects here. Well, besides some other small ruins of hangar parts. So let's view it a bit from a distance. The only thing that bothers me a bit is the sunlight. I don't know how well that picks up on the camera. So as you can see, this bunker is kind of standing alone here. You would expect there to be more structures, but that's not the case really. Because the other structures used to be on the other side of the road, where there's now a bicycle trail, and well, the buildings there have all been blasted. They've all been destroyed. The only thing you can find there is rubble, and even more rubble. Anyway, in the winter the forest is a bit open because it's no longer covered with leaves, so you can see a lot more of the buildings. Right now that bunker is not hidden at all. You can quite easily see it from the road. Oh, let's see, there's some kind of hole in the ground. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just some place that has been bombed. I have no idea what that hole is, but it's underwater. I think this must have been the location of some sort of building. I have no idea what this has been, but it's just a strange pond. I think it's just a foundation hole of something. And well, there's even more there. And this is also getting close to the mountain bike trail. Oh, here you can already see bits of rubble. Yes, this definitely looks like something, like some sort of former structure. Let's follow this. This isn't the bicycle trail yet. But you can probably see some sort of structure here. As you can see, there's some concrete bits. And here a solitary brick. You see some bits of concrete laying around. This is just something that has been blown to bits. Looks like that there's another hole here, another pit of something with bits of rubble in it. Let's check that out. Oh, it looks like some roof tiles. Yeah, not particularly interesting. Here's some bricks and some roof tiles. Here's another hole. Again, it has a rather strange shape. It looks really odd, and there's a bit of concrete or whatever. I can't completely recognize it, but it's definitely something. Maybe we can get a little closer. Oh, here's some pricky bushes we have to get through. So let's see if we can move this to the side. No problem. Well, what is it? It's a bit of concrete. You can't really recognize it, but there's a bit of concrete there. We have another hole. Oh, this is where the mountain bike trail starts, as you can see. And there's our first bit of wall. One of many in this area, but the other ones are bigger. This is just a small bit, and here's a sort of metal tensioning rod, so there must be some kind of foundation here. And here's a small bit of wall. It's about 40 centimeters thick, a little more. Again, calcium silicate bricks. So, but there's much larger bits of wall in this area if we follow the path. Here we have some more foundation pieces made of concrete in this hole. From what I have heard, these were foundations of a hangar with wooden arches, and they were connected with those tension rods. You see there's a cutout and a metal anchor, and here's a closer detail of the metal anchor. This is where the timber arch would have been, and it would have been fixed with this. And there's another piece. And as you can see, there's bricks all over the place. But if you look at the position of all those pieces, you'd say they have been pretty much been displaced. It looks like they are not on their original location, as if they have been intentionally moved to this position. And here's another big pit. Let's see if there's any rubble. Yep, there's a concrete foundation piece, and there's some kind of, I don't know, metal object, some kind of tube with wire. I don't know what it is. I don't want to touch it. And there we have a big wall piece. This is a really dislodged, dismembered piece of masonry wall. Multiple pieces, in fact. As you can see, they were quite thick. There's a bit of concrete. Here. Bits of wall blown to pieces. Just look at the thickness of them. Let's see. Well, this is more than 60 centimeters of thickness. These walls are absolutely massive. Massive chunks of wall. Oops. Let's look at it from a different angle. And it's all overgrown, and here's more bits and pieces, and well, you can't really easily see what the layout of the structure has been, but it must have been really big. And there's even more pieces, although they're kind of concealed. More concealed pieces of masonry. Anyway, we're getting close to a rather interesting object. It's close to where that car is. And here's another pit with what looks like a sewage pipe in it. And a presumably modern bit of concrete. And here's another piece of wall. Whoops. And if you look around, you can find even more bits and pieces. And also you can quite easily trip over them. So we reached the end of the mountain bike trail, and right over there on the other side of the road is a really nice foundation of a hangar. The foundation is kind of intact. And it must have been rather big. I have photos of that structure on my website, but let's have a look. And after that we're heading that way, because there's other interesting things there. Well, first off, you can see there's some sort of overgrown bits of foundation. These are just some overgrown bits, but there's more behind there. As you can see, there's a bit of masonry, big pieces of concrete. Now let's go inside the structure. And right off the bat you can see there's more concrete over there, and some of those foundation parts are in a really nice condition. Here you go. Oh, by the way, over there are modern buildings from the airbase. There's some kind of fire department there. So now we're inside. That's a bit of a dismembered piece. Again, it's all thick masonry, and in this case it's alternating with concrete foundation piers like that. And these ones are in especially nice condition because you can see how big they were. They're really chubby. And you see they even have some sort of diagonal braces at the back. I bet these things are reinforced. They have to be. Well, further in the bushes there are some other little objects that are not that interesting. But yeah, you can see actually the quality of the concrete was not that great. This is rather low grade concrete. Oh, and here's a chunk that kind of got destroyed, and as you can see that's actually quite surprising. There's no rebar, at least not in this section. That top part, this part here, that doesn't seem to be reinforced. And the concrete is really, well, not that great quality. actually surprises me that it's not really reinforced. However, here I can see little trace of a bit of rebar. They definitely skimped on that, I see. It's almost as if they saved on rebar. Let's see. Let's get on top of one so you have a better view. Anyway, there's a row of foundation piers right here. Ends about there. And there's another one right over there. So as you can see, this must have been a really large structure. I mean, it's well, easily 20 meters, maybe 30 meters or so. Really big. And here's a corner section. It's pretty overgrown. And there's the other wall section of the structure. So now we're heading that way. We're now heading close to the fence of the airbase. There are some interesting structures there behind the fence, but we can't get there. So now I have started filming using the headband. That's the first time I used the headband with the GoPro. So let's walk a bit on the side because there may be cyclists approaching. And well, there's a rather new building. That yellow building is, I believe, the Tronet Safety Campus, and along there is the fence of the airbase. But on that side of the fence, which is really close to the road, are some rather interesting structures, and some of them are from the German period. Oh, it's called, let's see if I can read it. Well, there's something like factory written on it. I think it's Risk Factory. I believe that's the name of the building. Anyway, since the Air Force left this area, the airport is now used for other things. Buildings have been repurposed. Yes, it says Risk Factory. Anyway, the fire department uses that as a safety training center where they simulate all sorts of hazards and things and fires and emergency situations. They can train that there, because the airport actually has quite a big fire department. And here we are reaching the gate. Here's the corner of the fence, and there's a sort of back exit gate along with a small command post, which is one of the many Cold War era prefabricated concrete structures. Well, you've seen these things probably before on my videos. So this was a emergency exit, and somewhere there in the bushes is another one of those ammunition sheds, and also this one is intact with the concrete roof slab still complete, still intact. It's a bit difficult to see, and I probably can't even spot it, but I think it's somewhere behind there. I've sometimes spotted it, but you can't spot it in the summer because then everything is way too dense. It'll probably show up at some point. I try to walk slowly. No, I haven't seen it yet. But I know it must be there. And also here's quite a deep trench with water. You don't want to step in there. Well, that thing is almost impossible to spot. Well, but once I was riding my bicycle, I kind of spotted it. And I've also heard that it actually exists here. But anyway, the thing is the exact same thing as in the Oosterveld estate. And in that area over there is a lot of well, holes, because that area was heavily bombed. Oh yes, I think I spot something there. Yeah, you probably can't see it on the camera, but I have it right now in front of me, there in the distance. There's some sort of structure. And I believe that could be the ammunition storage thingy. Yeah, it looks like it. Kind of looks like we're looking at it from the rear. By the way, in the 1950s this area was actually public, but during the Cold War times they expanded the base and they started using this area. And well, right there where I'm pointing at, that's kind of where the structure is. If you look closely through the fence, you may be able to see it right there behind the trees, a bit in the distance. Yeah, maybe you can see it even better now. Yeah, it's completely in image now. And it also seems like there's a lot of water. It's definitely there. It's somewhere, well, you see that water in front of me and then a bit on the right. And in this area there are also some buildings, two bunkers, and a building similar to the one on the Oosterveld estate. And this is the area with all the trenches. Oh, there's a cyclist coming. So I have to get a bit to the side then. Okay, cyclist has passed, and right there you can already see some structures between the trees, although they are kind of covered with the fence. But one of those buildings is a garage that's similar to that building on the Oosterveld estate, except it's slightly different. And that building there on the left is another bunker. But this is probably a different type of bunker, as it's not covered with soil. But the building on the right has windows. And as it's exactly at the border of the fence, we may be able to get a little closer. So let's enter the field. It's probably muddy. Let's see. Oh, I can do this. It's probably a bit difficult to spot on the camera though, but because of the sun and the trees that obscure everything. But that's another building that's rather similar to the one on the Oosterveld estate. It's not entirely the same. The one on the Oosterveld estate has a square plan, and this is kind of like an L shape. And the difference is that it has a garage, as you can see here. The one on the Oosterveld estate doesn't have this extra bit, so that's a difference. You see, the building itself is very similar. Same kind of masonry, same kind of roof slab. Oh, and here's some kind of trench. I wonder if there's anything else here. Well, and there is a bunker. So that's about all she wrote for this area. Well, I guess I could do that, but I'll just go around it, because somewhere over there is a ruin of an old farmhouse. And that's a rather interesting find. And that's the last thing on the video. But that's quite a hike actually. I wonder how this thing films with the headband, because the view will be a lot higher than normal, and also the windows have been taken out. I don't know what they're doing, but I am hearing some kind of chainsaw, as if they're chopping wood or something. Well, that's just the thing with recording outside, because you cannot avoid all those extra noises. Oh, and there's the farmer working with their tractor. It looks like a really old tractor, by the way. It's not a modern tractor at all. So, and right there where that car is, if you proceed the path further, you'll reach the Oosterveld estate. But we're not going there. We're heading left where the car is. Well, and once I reach the farmhouse, I have to hike all the way back to the car. But I won't put that on video because it's not interesting then. Anyway, this is all pits. And there's no rubble as far as I know, because I've already explored that area once before. I haven't filmed that, but trust me, I couldn't find any ruins there. I was hoping to find some, but nope, not there. Man, that chainsaw noise is annoying as hell. Oh, you see, there's a lot of cyclists, because it's the Christmas vacation. Yeah, if you look at the weather, you wouldn't think it's Christmas vacation. We're in the, it's 28th of December, and it's over 10 degrees. It's really hot. Normally it would be freezing.